Hey there, I'm Anna Bisak, and I'm here talking with Erik Wells, who's going to tell us more about his career. So, Erik, I'll have you start. Can you tell us what do you do for work?
Sure. Hi, Anna. Yeah, I am the town manager in the town of Williston, Vermont.
That's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about what your job entails?
Sure. So the town manager is essentially the CEO of the town, the
Mhm.
municipality. So I supervise all departments in town, police department, fire, planning, parks and recreation, finance. Everyone in town ultimately reports to me. I have a
Mhm.
number of great department heads who manage each of their departments. So we work to keep the town running day in and day out. So things I might do are work with staff. There's something with human resources to work through. I do a lot of public policy research as
Mhm.
I work for the town select board, and I support the board and take different policy items to them. Probably the biggest thing we're working on right now is starting for our town budget.
Mhm.
We'll be voting that on town meeting day coming up in March, but it really starts in August, September to start to put
Mhm.
together our budget. It's a $11 million budget.
Mhm.
So figuring out all those pieces to take to the voters. I also do a lot of communications, community relations, share with people what's going on in town.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of the job is building relationships
Mhm.
at the town level, the staff level, regional level. The way I think about it with anyone in town, if they want to talk to me as a town manager about anything going on, I'm here. I'm an open phone line
Mhm.
more now with COVID, but I
Mhm.
also meet with people in person outside still. And I work for everyone in the town and to keep this town a great place to live and work. And
That's
a lot
great.
of other things with financial management too comes up a lot.
Mhm. Awesome. Um, can you tell us a little bit more about your educational and career background and kind of how you came into this kind of work?
Sure. So I'm a native Vermonter. I grew up in Barrie. I graduated from Spalding High School, and then I got a bachelor's degree at St. Michael's in journalism and mass communication with a minor in history. And ever since I was young, I wanted to be a sports writer. That was my vision since I discovered Sports Center and sports writing when I was about 10 years old.
Mhm.
I pursued that in college. I did an internship at the Free Press at the sports desk, and I was covering high school games. And it was a great experience. But then through that internship, I realized that I didn't want to do that for a career.
Mhm.
So then I got to thinking after college, I started working with my communications background for a nonprofit that supported town highway departments around the state. And
Mhm.
my job there was to do manage communications, part time at first and full time. And
Mhm.
I ended up going to grad school at UVM at the same time at nights to get a master's degree in public administration.
Mhm.
Going into it, I was looking for a leadership role in an organization. And I had no idea what that would be when I started my grad school experience. I just knew I liked helping people. I liked working on the public side, and I want to figure out where that would take me. So I did a couple other internships in grad school, one for a foundation that makes grants to environmental nonprofits and community groups, another for the Middlebury College Athletic Department, still
Mhm.
thinking about the athletics and sports side of a career. And then ultimately, I got my first job working for the town of Milton after grad school, and then I moved on from the nonprofit I was at. And I really love the hands-on municipal work. And
Mhm.
I started out there as the executive assistant and human resources coordinator to the town manager. I was hired there with a good general background, but I had no human resources experience in that job.
Mhm.
So I learned on the job with that piece, but used my education and experience to help me there, and ultimately grew to the
Mhm.
director of administration in Milton, and then came to Williston as the assistant to the town manager,
Mhm.
then the assistant town manager, and the longtime town manager retired earlier this year. I was hired as a new town manager in July this year.
Mhm. That's awesome. Thanks. What are some of your favorite things about your job?
I, I would say with municipal work, no 2 days are the same.
Mhm.
So you can go from working on analyzing a future budget, working on community projects, meeting with community members. You can have um, help mediate a disagreement between maybe a resident and a staff member,
Mhm.
work with the town attorney. There's a whole variety of things that come up in running a community and working with people. So you get into this work, you're not going to be it's going to be challenging, and no 2 days are the same, so it keeps it fresh and keeps it interesting.
That's great. And that might lead into the next question, which is, what are some of the things you find the most challenging about this work?
Yeah, I guess some part of that, it can be the unpredictability, but I also embrace that at times to, it keeps it very dynamic and fluid. But at times there's also, you're thinking, oh, I'd like to just spend the afternoon working on this project idea that I want to flesh out, but things can pop up at any time that you need to address and take care of. But this is a job also where you need to work at night every now and then. Town boards meet in the evening, 7 o'clock, a couple nights a week, or a couple days a month, not nights a week. That'd be an awful lot, but you get used to the schedule. You can flex your time a little bit. Yeah, like I said, no 2 days are the same, so that always keeps it interesting for me.
That's great. And so that kind of partially answers my next question, but I was wondering if you could kind of walk us through what a typical day looks like for you. And since it sounds like there isn't necessarily a typical day, maybe just pick kind of any given day. And
sure, I can walk you through my Monday. I've had a number of things going on today, so I had a meeting this morning about a public works project we're looking at in town with a couple staff members and a town attorney that's helping us with some legal pieces of it. Had a meeting with a staff member. As coming in as manager, I want to give everyone on staff a chance to sit down with me for a half hour. So I've been scheduling these meetings for a bit. So I had a nice chat with one of our police officers this morning. I know the meeting at the police station a little while ago, just with the chief on a couple things. And then I came over for this interview, and I'll be doing some more work, starting to plan our budget for next year this afternoon and getting ready for the select board meeting next week. And that'll probably be good enough for a Monday.
That's great. Thanks. What do you think would make someone a good fit for this kind of work?
I think above all in public service is wanting to serve people and help people. You work in the private sector, you're be more finance, bottom line driven for a company, and in the public sector, you're people driven and service driven and supporting people in the community and being there. So I think someone who's thinking about a career in public service, really embracing and leaning into the public side of it and wanting to just know you can make a difference in a small way or a large way every day, but you're there to make a difference.
That's great. If a current middle or high school student is thinking about exploring this kind of work, is there anything you would recommend that they do right now, like classes or volunteer work or projects or anything like that, to kind of keep exploring if it's the right move for them?
Sure. I would ask questions. I would learn about in your town how your town government works. Who's the manager, town administrator, who's on the select board. Watch a select board meeting. They're all, for the most part, recorded on public access. Their agendas are online. There's also a number of town boards and committees out there. There's planning commissions, development review, conservation commissions, cemetery commissions. There's a lot going on in every town every day. And just to learn how it functions operationally, you don't have to go into this job knowing all the ins and outs of it. I think it's really good to learn how to ask good questions, understand how processes work, and talk to people who've done it before. Myself and any of my colleagues around the state, we'd be happy to answer questions about getting into this line of work. And whether it's town management or any other piece in local government, there's a lot of opportunity for careers moving forward. There's a lot of folks retiring right now, and look to the next generation of leaders out there.
That's great. And you spoke a bit about your educational background, but what kind of education or training do you think that a student should be looking at down the road if they want to be working in local government?
Yeah, I think sometimes political science kind of gives you a good public policy standpoint. It's kind of understanding issues and how to analyze issues, but a really good research background, being able to gather information and present it to folks in a good, succinct way. I think general kind of education-wise classes you can take, being a financial management, having a good sense of making a budget and working through a budget. and really just working with people, understanding people. I found mediation skills, discussions, really a lot of educational background can really tailor itself to a career in public service. And if someone's interested in, say, being a police officer, criminal justice degree really goes a long way to assist in that pathway. But just asking questions, spending time, being a firefighter, joining fire cadet programs, spending time at the firehouse. All these are really valuable experiences to learn about the jobs.
Great. Thanks. Anything else you would want to share with students?
I guess I would say, I think back when I was in high school, and it wasn't that long ago, but it was before we had iPhones in the early 2000s here. But local government work wasn't on my radar. I wish I might have learned more about it then, because it really caught my interest. And you can really go a long way and learn early on and find yourself in a good role where you can make a difference. And really hands-on in your community from the start. So I'd encourage folks to learn more and ask questions. And there's a number of people who have gone through that process and are happy to help the next generation of leaders come up and work in public service.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. It's great to be here.